people don't meditate. Because it's very boring. It's not special. It's absolutely boring. But what they don't know is all this pain, all this anxiety that we have is because of wanting to be special and thinking that there is something special. That's it. So, let's do a meditation. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. Those who find it helpful, the shamatha, I mean, my introduction to the shamatha in both Buddhism, very short, and is not enough. But if you have some inspiration to do meditation, I would really, I cannot encourage you more. Please do so. Not long, especially for those who are beginners. No need long meditation. 3 minutes, 4 minutes, but consistently, every day. And 2 kinds of value or motivation, I've already said. Doesn't matter. If you are not a Buddhist, then the first one. The key is be consistent, short, and never ever try to allocate. Well, think that I will meditate when there is a good time, when there is a free time, when I have finally got a space to meditate. It doesn't happen. It never happens. If you feel like, then even in the toilet, on the toilet seat, do it. And of course, sometimes going to the forest, mountain, will help. And whatever inspires you, you should do that. If climbing, meditating under a tree, that day, that session helps, then do it. You don't then have to think, oh, and that day it works. Next day it will work. Third day might not work. Then the tree behind you has become familiar, you see. Then you need another inspiration maybe. Maybe next to a, what do you call it, the music box, what? Jukebox, yeah. Or a, I don't know, a speaker. Or in front of a, incense, whatever. Within your own room, sometimes on the sofa, sometimes on the floor, sometimes facing right, east, south, west. Every day, make it interesting. And basically, the important thing is, if you are interested in meditation, you should do it continuously. Don't discontinue. Then, if you, those who are new, I'm talking to, if you are interested, then you can do the vipassana and all kinds of other meditation. But basically, the point is not to get worked up with all these distractions. As long as you are not worked up, get caught, engrossed, you are closer to the sanity, sane, soberness. And I'm not making this up. Buddha himself said, one could make offerings to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas many, many, many times, with flowers and incense and food and all kinds. But one moment of meditation is much more emphasized by the Buddha. So, get used to this path of, especially if you want to be Buddhist or if you're already Buddhist, this profound path of the Shakyamuni Buddha. There's one more thing I want to tell you. The thing that I was talking, all compounded things are impermanent. Everything that comes out from, all emotions coming from clinging to the self is pain. Everything is illusion or emptiness. Nirvana is beyond extreme. These are like amazing statement. You should really, imagine these are the statement spoken 2,500 years ago. So progressive thinking, I would say. Even today, people are still stuck with all kinds of moralistic, political correctness, ritualistic, religion, sectarian and all of that. And here we are, this man has spoken this for, and this for is Buddhism. Not just, joining a monastery does not qualify you, Buddhist. You could join a monastery, you could join a group, a Buddhist group, and you could be not accepting 1 or 4 of this. You are not a Buddhist. And you could be not a Buddhist by name, but you could actually agree with these 4 and actually try to live with these 4 principles. You are Buddhist, or I should say, you are with the Gautama Buddha. Enlightenment is there already. This non-special enlightenment. Okay. So, do you have questions? If not, We'll end here. You don't have to ask questions.
Speaking of being non-special, however, in the Vajrayana practice, we do divine pride, and we're trying to generate, working with the subtle body, and it's difficult not to get into that being special.
Yeah, that's why there is the path of sampadikrama, dissolution.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because they try to make you think you are special, and then at the end they think that has to go.
Mm-hmm. So keep emphasis on that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Rinpoche, this is going to sound like a really stupid question, and I guarantee it. I always get confused with just the word ego, because I get it confused with psychology. So can you just explain ego in the Buddhist sense so that I can understand it better?
Self, ego. It's it's a misconception. It's looking at a few transitory things put together, and then in your mind you create a phenomena or several phenomena, I don't know, and then thinking that that phenomena exists permanently. That is ego. Very difficult. For instance, like self, me, right? When I say I'm looking at, I'm referring at my body, my feeling, my consciousness, my action, I don't know, my name, several of these put together. And in turn, each of them, they fall apart all the time. As you must know, some of you, 20 years, I must have changed. All the time, continuously, I'm falling apart. My body is falling apart. My feeling is, my mood is, my God, my mood. Talk about my mood. It changes like lightning. But constantly, there is a notion that there is one permanent self, which is basically conveniently sort of labeled at this moving, transitory, essenceless stuff. So therefore, it is a total misconception. And you know, it's a bit like that. Okay, this is sort of my interpretation now. The actual labeling itself is okay. You know, it's like if I name you Victoria, that's fine. But if I give you the name Victoria, and then I think that you are the Queen Victoria, that is where things goes wrong. Actual naming that I, It's fine. But it's this clinging that this I exist, and that's where things goes wrong. Because then it creates all this nightmare. Okay? You want to use microphone? I think it's there one.
I feel very enlightened by, I'm a beginner, okay? I feel very enlightened by your 4 points. But further away. But there's something I do not understand as far as the third one is concerned about trying to avoid two extremes, either right or left, okay? What about right or wrong? Because we are all brought up with certain
very good.
virtues.
Yes.
Like if a murder is wrong,
yes,
and the victim is, we're sympathetic with the victim. Now, how do you view that? I mean, how can you say you have no position of anything? I don't agree with the very extreme. Whatever it is, whatever I do, you must have a position. At the end, you must have a stand. I don't mean that. That I can understand. But what I mean is, if in your upbringing, in your education, in your personal values, you know something is right and something is wrong.
Yes.
Like the war, the aggressor is wrong and the victim is right. I'm sympathetic with the victim. But am I supposed not to have this kind of judgment?
Very good, very good. You have listened very well. This is what I mean. These things need to be really explained more. Otherwise it creates more, it's like opening what? Can of worm. Now you have found few worms already. You are there, right, Let me think how to put this sort of practically. It's very sophisticated, really sophisticated question. In different levels now we have to talk. Okay, what Buddha said is this. Right and wrong is dualism. It's dualistic. And one of his followers, Chandrakirti, said, in his very famous quotation, he said, those who are unwise, they will do lots of bad things, non-virtuous things, and go to hell. And then the second line, he said, those who are unwise, not wise, they will do lots of virtuous things and go to heaven. You have to underline the word unwise, not wise. Those who are wise will do. Those who are wise will go beyond virtuous and non-virtuous, and go to nirvana, enlightenment. Okay. I'm trying to get an example. Let's say you are dreaming right now, the classic Buddhist examples. Huh? I trust them better than my own examples, so I will use this. Let's say you are dreaming, and you don't know that you are dreaming. Now that part is important, that you don't know that you are dreaming. So you have to underline that phrase. You are dreaming that you are being chased by a poisonous snake. Now, I'll come into your picture, your dream. And I know, let's say, this is all hypothetical and it's just an example. I know you are dreaming, but you don't know. Now, it's very stupid for me to say, hey, look, this is neither snake, no, this is not snake, this is neither not snake, this is just your dream. It won't work. So, here what do? It's easier to say, yes, I can also see that snake. Let's chase it out, or let's escape. So, to the certain extent, we use both right and left wing equally. Yeah, relatively speaking, we use both. But all along, when we talk about the third, this is why this is the most difficult subject. The third is what we call the wisdom of the Buddha. I mean, this is the quintessential, the wisdom of the Buddha. Emptiness, shunyata. So I guess, okay, let me answer you this way. As long I guess I'll just simply sort of try to be practical. Okay, so what should you do? Okay, isn't that the question? Should you think the aggressor, in this case, are we supposed to think that the aggressor is not bad? Like, are we supposed to think that? No. We must, not that we must, that's it. You will think that aggressor is not good. Being aggressive is not good and all of that. But during the third view, what we are saying is that when you judge that the aggressor is not good, that also is, that judgment that aggressor is not good is also, how do I put it, not independent and not permanent. It's very relative. That's what we are saying basically. It's your judgment that all the judgment that we make, right, wrong. Of course, to be generous is good. But when we say to be generous is good, on the third view, we must have the awareness that when I say to be generous is good, basically it's similar to, oh, I am about to bite by a snake in the dream. So let me run. Relatively, you are going through that experience. So you will use this kind of judgment. But from the ultimate point of view, which is the third is very, actually, this four seal you can divide into two. The first two is the relative truth, and the second, the last two are the ultimate truth. And from the ultimate point of view, there is no snake, first of all, chasing you. So how can you think that escaping from such a snake is a wise idea? Because there is no snake from the ultimate point of view. Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Right, right. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So in this case, are we to accept that under the present historical situation, under the present circumstances, that we can say there is a snake, that the aggressor is wrong?
Yes.
Or are we to say that actually we think the aggressor is wrong, but it is neither right or wrong? I mean, I'm having difficulty.
Yes, I understand. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We are supposed to think both. That's the challenge. We are supposed to think both. And do you know why? You see, if you have never had that dream of a snake chasing you, you will not have both. The either path is useless. Well, you are not even doing, the snake doesn't even exist. So why talk about the relief of snake? Which reality? Oh, now we are talking having a dream of a snake. So that's the reality you are talking, isn't it?
I'm talking about having the reality of war.
Yes, yes. Our reality, yes. The aggression, the jealousy, the pride, the solid, war, famine, all kinds of pollution. Yes, of course. Now we are having snake chasing us. Yes, constantly. So, two things we can do. Relatively, we try to escape from the snake. That's what we call Sarvakayana Buddhism. We try to make friends, friends with snake and make the snake useful for us. Or you catch the snake and put a leash on the snake. That's more like a Mahayana Buddhism. And then we have, make friends with the snake, actually. And, yes, use its power and use its allure, the ability to allure and ability to frighten and all of that for our own aid. And that is what we call Vajrayana Buddhism. So we use this way. Now all along, what are you doing? You are dreaming. All along. Actually, you brought this good. Because what I'm now saying is basically whole Buddhism, the whole Buddhist path is I always call it placebo. Because the thing is, you think you have a problem. And from the relative point of view, yes, you are right. You are very right. Not only you have the problem, your problem is shared by me too. So that makes it even more solid. And it's shared by many other 100 people, more solid. And the problem doesn't seem to last one day. It has been going on for months and months. So it's more. So all of this makes the problem more solid. But still doesn't mean that it does truly independently exist. Because if all of us dream snake, Even though there's so many people here sharing, dreaming the same snake, that does not make the snake real snake. It's still 100 dreams. But in the relative world, yes, it will frighten you. Yeah, well, welcome to Buddhism. This is Buddhism now. As Buddha himself said, you know, Buddhism is like this. It's like sharpening knife. You have a stone and you have the knife. And so-called sharpening knife, what is it? It's basically exhaustion of two things. Exhaustion of the stone and exhaustion of the iron. And that two exhaustion together, we call it enlightenment. Likewise, what we are trying to exhaust is two things. Our anger, our jealousy, our pride, that's like a stone. And then so-called wisdom, compassion, devotion, which is like the iron. So we rub them together, and then the anger and jealousy and pride, they go. Because they go, wisdom and the diligence and the, all of that is also not necessary, so they also go. So there's no problem, and there's no antidote of the problem. And that's again the non-speciality, enlightenment. And don't ask me anymore, because I will end up making you think that this enlightenment is the total boring, nothing inspiring. Anyway, that's it for tonight.